Hi guys, next book review, and I'm doing it on Passion by Lauren Kate. This is the third in the Fallen series. The next one is Rapture, which is out in spring 2012, and it's the final book, which I'm pretty upset about if I'm honest. The back says, before Luce and Daniel met at Sword and Cross, before they fought the Immortals, they had already lived many lives. And so Luce, desperate to unlock the curse that condemns their love, must revisit her past incarnations in order to understand her fate. Each century, each life holds a different clue. But Daniel is chasing her throughout the centuries before she has a chance to rewrite history. How many deaths can one true love endure, and can Luce and Daniel unlock their past in order to change their future? The thrilling sequel to the international bestsellers Fallen and Torment. Okay. This one I think is my favourite. Some things I like about it is the cover. I like all the covers throughout all the books really. From each chapter it kind of it'll have Lucy's perspective when she's in a past life, and then it'll have Daniel's perspective while he's chasing her. She's kind of changed Cam's character, which I really like. You kind of figure out why they start this war, and near the end of it he's full rounded, and he's become one of my favourite characters from reading this book actually. One of the other things is she used different time for every chapter, and it's not like one chapter will be Moscow, October 15th, 1941, and then another chapter will be Helston, England, June 18th, 1854. So it goes throughout all ages, and when she visits her past life, she's totally different. In some she's like royalty, in some she's help, like slaves and stuff, and then she can be bitchy, she can be really really nice, but the thing that stays throughout the same is that they fall in love. And yeah, basically this book starts with Sophia in 2009, who has met some new people and is watching a horse racing game. Now when you first read it, I think you kind of have to reread it because you don't really expect it to go there. I mean, why would Sophia be at a horse racing? It seems a bit out there. But after I finished reading the prologue, I thought it was a good start to the book. And chapter 1 starts with Luce travelling these past lives, and after a few past lives she meets Bill, who is her guide. Now Bill has quite a big storyline to play, so if you have not read the book, I will warn you that there are spoiler alerts. Okay, so Bill is like this little gargoyle who tells her basically guides her through what she can do, and he disappears a lot, and near the end he is on about in Torment you heard about Starshot, which can basically kill angels, and Bill said if she cleaved her soul with one of these Starshots that the curse wouldn't have happened, and her and Daniel won't be drawn to each other. Now when he first tells her this, it's very daunting to Luce because you know, as she views it, what would her life be without Daniel if Daniel wasn't in it? And she kind of wonders if all that with Trevor would have happened, and if she would have ever actually gone to Sword and Cross, and you know, all this sort of stuff. She says that she's going to do it. Bill's kind of pressuring her into it, which is kind of when you think does he have an agenda? But she decides not to do it, and then it comes about that Bill is actually Satan, which is it's a good storyline, really. So they bring Lucifer into the book, and he's tricked loose throughout a lot of these past lives. He's taught her how to go 3D, which is basically, well, angels call it cleaving. It's basically going into your past self. So what has to happen, Lucy's present self has to touch her past self, and then they look at each other, and then like they both blink at the same time, and then Lucy is in her body, and Lucy gets her memories, her feelings, everything, and in a few of the times she's gone 3D, she has died in the body, but she gets thrown out just before the past Lucy actually goes up in flames. But when it was starting to happen, she remembered in one of their lives that her past self was very happy. She wasn't afraid to die, she kind of welcomed it. Also in one life, in the Mayans, Daniel reveals his angelic soul, which shouldn't be happening because it basically kills people. And before Elise actually started to burn up with the rest of the other people, she had 2 minutes where it was just, she wasn't like going on fire, and the present Luce, while she was in the past Luce, she recognised his soul. Now it doesn't seem like she's ever seen it before, and Bill's kind of saying, "Oh, you're crazy, you're crazy." I think it's good, really. You know. Then Shelby and Miles are going through the past selves as well to look for Luce, and they run into Daniel, who says basically they've got to go home. Daniel actually cleaves in this book into one of his past selves, and Miles has to kind of get rid of it, which he does, and then Shelby and Miles go back to the present day. On a note of Cam's character, I mean, in Fallen, I was kind of a fan until near the end, and then in Torment I hated him. And in this one, I come around to loving him. In this, there is a past life that Daniel actually travels to. Luce doesn't travel to it. Sometimes they travel to different lives, and Daniel, Shelby and Miles travelled to a life where Cam is going to get married to a woman called Lilith, and Daniel kind of reveals that people in Lilith's family are kind of like, certain women are basically bitches and, you know, really, really mean. And Shelby kind of knows someone called Lilith from Shoreline who has bullied her since she was young, and she basically says so she might just be evil because it's in her or something like that. And Daniel basically says yeah. So yeah, that Cam and Lilith are supposed to get married, but Lilith really wants to get married in the church, but Cam can't because he can't step in the church or he'll burst into flames. So then she calls off the wedding, and Daniel says kind of the wrong thing, and that's how their feud starts. And at the end of the book, Daniel and Luce go to a safe house for angels, and as soon as they enter the door, Cam brings them into a hug and says, "You're safe." And this is kind of bring me into the character. For the next one, really, I think this should be more Roland, and I just think it's more Roland and more Cam. I really like Daniel and Lucy's character and kind of the epic love that just kind of brings them together, and they're just so in love, and it's kind of romantic that they're just fighting to stay with each other, and they've lived all these past lives, and fair enough, she's died and he's been in pain, but it's very romantic. Also, Lucy kind of sees what happens to Daniel when she dies, and she figures out that she doesn't really have the worst part. Fair enough, she dies, but then Daniel is kind of left there, and he has to struggle through everything, and it's very heart-wrenching. This book has got 5 billion stars. This is one of my favourite books. It was definitely my most anticipated book. When I read Torment, I just wanted to read Passion, and I'm sure I'm going to be like this about Rapture, which is the last book in the series, which is very upsetting. If you have read Passion and you disagree with anything I've said about the characters or the plots, or if you just read it and you really agree and like the book, tell me what you think. Tell me what was your favourite part of the book, and who is your favourite character in this one.